How you doing?
Extremely well.
Good. So there's one thing I want to mess around with a little bit. I have been, from past experience of the Abraham sessions where you talk about filling in the grid. I've been filling in the grid over a subject for about, let's say a year and a half, 2 years.
The grid fills in itself.
Okay.
You just achieve the properties that cause the grid to fill in. Law of attraction fills it in. You just choose. You just choose the disc that will fill in. You're not filling it in. You're just choosing the disc.
So I have been thinking that my action is filling in the grid, when really the whole time it's been how I'm feeling about the subject is
About
filling
the
in the grid.
Yeah.
And so I'm really not filling in my own grid other than I'm choosing, like by action. I'm not filling in my grid by action. I'm just not being as clear with my thoughts as I could be to create the path.
Sometimes it's easy to get in a very active mode and think that you're deliberately creating through your action, where your action is really a byproduct of the grid. It's a byproduct of the vibrational choice. It's the byproduct of the disc you're spinning on.
I'm doing something because of what's showing up.
Yeah.
So
it's the inspiration. So if you're on the worried disc, the path of least resistance, that is the vortex, and the path of least resistance that's filling in for you is quite different than if you're on the high flying disc.
Sure.
And the path of least resistance and the vortex is filling in.
Okay.
So if you can just accept that everything possible is out there spinning, because you've been, and everyone else too, you've been all over the place on just about every subject. So there are a lot of possibilities. And now it's time to accept that the momentum is what it is what it is, and that I have a choice right here and right now, where all of my power is, to just flat out decide where I want to be. Because if I'm depressed, the grid will fill in with depressing things. If I'm angry, the grid will fill in with things that make me even more angry. Okay. If I'm overwhelmed, the grid will fill in with things that cause me to feel more overwhelmment. If I'm ornery, the grid will fill in with more things that make me feel ornery. If I'm frustrated, the grid will fill in with more things that make me feel if I'm hopeful, the grid will fill in with more things that make me feel hopeful.
Sure.
If I'm elated, if I'm clear, the grid will fill in with more things like that.
Sure.
It's just a law. The grid is the law of attraction is responding to the grid you are choosing. The question is, you choosing it on purpose? You choosing it by default? You choosing it through observation? Are you choosing it through focus? Are you choosing it through focus wheels? Are you choosing it through the movie you watched? Are you choosing it based on how you want to feel? Are you choosing it because you want to be intellectual in a conversation with somebody that's snarky and talking about something? Are you choosing it because you've practiced that vibration and it really is who you are? Are you choosing it because you're found, or are you choosing it because you're lost? In other words, those are the questions.
Okay, so basically what I take from that is you have a choice to have lazy focus or a little bit more solid, concentrated focus.
Well, momentum is that lazy focus or concentrated focus, that's the subject of momentum. So you choose lazy focus that feels good, like, floating in a pool, somebody rubbing my feet, petting the cat, watching a sport event that I like. You choose lazy focus that feels good and stay there for a while.
Sure.
And it won't stay lazy.
Sure.
Because momentum must ensue. It always does. Nothing ever stands still. Law of attraction will compound it and compound
Sure.
it and 17 seconds brings more, a bang. 17 more seconds brings more, a bang. In other words, you can't stop momentum, but you can choose the direction of the momentum. We like this conversation.
Yeah.